What is up, guys? Glenn with Hustler Hacks, and I finally got a mic. There we go, if you can see it. I don't have to be so close to the computer anymore so you guys can hear me through there. So hopefully the mic is working good. And I wanted to go through the July merch sales update, which they did decline. Let's get into that first. And 205 products sold this week. Let me refresh this, which you guys already know why I refresh it, so you guys know I'm not making up stuff. But 205 products sold this week. Currently have 2,659 products live out of 8,000. So to go through that on my little slide thing here, the last video in June, I had 2,127 designs out of 5,000. Since then I tiered up to 8,000 and I added a little bit over 500 designs. I told you guys in the last video that August I was gonna go all out, so I did beat my goal of uploading more than 100 shirts per week. So 532 designs since then. And usually it takes, I mean, I don't know, it could, some of those designs have sold, but usually like 2 to 3 weeks to kind of really get a shirt on there and kind of like snowball, get some sales. So it will take some time, but let's see what happens. Now overall, estimated earnings, you can see here, actually let's talk about the July. So July I made $5,549.43, which is a decline from June, around $500 more or less, $500, $600. It dropped, and I think honestly the thing that kind of hurt me was not uploading any designs in the whole month of May, because I was on a roll, everything was good to go, and of course you don't get that check until the next month comes. So really, I think it kind of like started to decline from there since I didn't add anything on May. So anything in June wasn't new until I started uploading shirts right then and there. So I think that had something to do with it, but I'm not going to complain around about making $5,500 that month for putting in $0, just putting in time really. And let's see, where are we? Going back to the slides. So ever since I joined Merch, I've made a little bit over $27,000 after fees, everything. That's all of these checks added up is a little bit over 27,000. Okay, so let's talk about review process. Now you guys know that they added this new feature that, if your design is copyrighted or trademarked, they're not just gonna have it go into the platform and then it gets kicked off later on. They just won't even let you upload it once it's reviewed by Amazon's team. So one thing that I did notice to have like a speedy review process is to make sure you have nothing on Trademarkia. And what I mean by this is you go to trademarkia.com. Let's say we're searching world's best ad. So you put that in and you can see the name is not found in our database, which is good. There's nothing there, nothing to get confused. You're good on trademarks or copyright, all that stuff. So there we go, nothing. But let's say we're Halloween's coming and we search Monster. We're not talking about Monsters Inc., but you can see that there's already like one well-known trademark thing that could happen. But look, 10 plus pages of trademarks on there. Monster, we're not even talking about a specific monster, we're just saying monster in general. So that is going to be, even having monster in your title, I mean, that could have something to do with it. But if they're going to have to review and go through a bunch of trademarks to see if that's okay to sell, it's going to take a while. There was one shirt, well, one of the weeks I uploaded like 120 shirts at once, and there was only one of them that had this certain word in there that I didn't even think about, and I was like, oh man, is that trademarked? I looked it up and it wasn't, but there was at least 2 pages on here of different trademarks that had been filled out from years past. Some have already gone off, of course, that they're no longer registered, but the fact that it was on there and they had a couple of pages, I'm pretty sure had something to do with it taking so long. It took around 3 or 4 days to finally get accepted and finally got processed and went live. Of course, I'm not saying Amazon uses this to check their trademarks, But if you're safe and you do something to where there's nothing in the database, then it should be a speedy process. All of those 119 shirts got uploaded and processed that very day. It was quick. But for that one shirt that, could have had some trademark issues, even though it wasn't trademarked, it just had past trademarks on it. It did take a while, 3 to 4 days, to get finally processed and going. So something to think about, especially if you're looking to get your shirts on there and processed live very, very quickly. Let's talk about the webinar. If you guys didn't notice, there was a webinar this week. And if you didn't get to watch it, I will have the link in my description in this video so you can watch the replay. And Mike Hines from Amazon talks about certain things that you can do, techniques and tips and stuff that's working right now. So I'm going to review that just a little bit, go through a couple of notes, and get my take on there. So he talks about pricing, what price to pick. $18 average selling price, $19.95 is most popular selling price. And he says if you go over $19.95, do so for a good reason. All of this stuff I agree on. I think $17.99, $18.99, $19.99, great prices to have your shirts. I think that you're making what, $5, $6, $7 profit on each shirt. And I agree on this part too. If you go over the $19.95, have a good reason. All my shirts are like text-based, simple. That's the only way I was able to have so many shirts. If I went nonstop and had, very detailed graphic and stuff like that, then yeah, my numbers would be really low compared to the 2,600 that I have right now. I'm going for numbers, so I'm trying to get these out quickly. They're very, very simple, and with the simple designs, I think the pricing should be around that $17, $18, $19. And if you have shirts for like 22, 23, 24, 25, some people may not want to pay that much for text-based shirts. I mean, this shirt that I'm wearing is a Nike shirt, text-based only, except for the Nike swoosh on the bottom. It was $12.99 at the outlet, so nowhere near, the $25 price point, but just something to think about when you're pricing your shirts. Writing bullet points, short, informative, and clear. And this part, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I really agree with everything on this certain slide. There was a good article written on FBAmaster.com talking about keywords for Merch by Amazon, and I'm not an affiliate. I don't even know who runs this site or anything. I just thought it was a great article talking about keywords and all that stuff for your Merch by Amazon shirts. So I will have this link in the description too. You can read over that article, and it has a pretty good little tips and stuff like that. So definitely want to look over that. What colors to pick? So you pick 3 or 4. Darker sells better, and test your design. And I agree with all these too. All my shirts, I usually do that black or navy blue. I rarely have white t-shirts or like the bright yellow ones. It says pick 3 or 4. If your design is like all one color, you can do 4 or 5 colors. I really don't think it's a bad thing, but he says that, if you narrow it down to like 3 designs, then you give the customer even less to choose from, because sometimes customers are kind of picky. They don't really know what to choose. They're like, hey, should I get this one? And they end up getting nothing. So he says you can narrow it down to like 3 or 4 different colors. And he says colors in the tool are listed in order of sales popularity. So he's saying that pretty much, I thought I added that on there, sorry, but that, when you see the little boxes of the colors, that means black, navy blue, gray, all of those, from left to right are the most popular colors that people buy. So something to think about too. I wouldn't just ignore red and all those, because they also sell, but for sure, I do agree, black, navy blue, gray, those colors, even the regular blue sell well. So it has different other points when it comes to like designs. Trending now, distressed designs, which they do well too. Bold, high contrast colors, larger art elements, darker colored shirts, which we already talked about the darker colored shirts. But larger art elements, which I agree on that too. I like to make designs that are going to fill up the whole artboard so that, if you have a really small design or maybe a real narrow design too, it might just get kind of lost in there. Like, hey, you can't really see it. Who knows how it's going to come out when you print it? But if it's huge, it's bold, it's clear, it's clean, has good colors, good contrast, which we talk about here too. I think you'll do well. Um, he talks about designs that are doing poorly right now, designs in a block, design elements with transparency, subtle blends with shirt color, logo only designs, and white t-shirts, which I agree in all of these too. So let me talk to you and show you guys a little bit about these like design elements with transparency and stuff like that. So bringing up Illustrator real quick, let's say this is my artboard for t-shirt designs. This is a crappy design, I know, just for example, but he says designs in a square, so that's actually having the square printed on your shirt. It is going to be a little bit weird if that stuff happens. It doesn't flow very well when you see the design. So having this square in there, I think will throw it off. So I do agree with that. He talks about the transparency type thing. So what he means by that is if you go up here to like the opacity and you kind of start messing around with that, you can see 10, 20, 30%. I think he said that if you're over the 20%, then it's gonna come out white, and then if you have 20 or 10%, it's not even gonna make a difference. So when you mess with stuff like that, I know some people want to have this to where like certain colors come out differently. I wouldn't even be messing with any of that stuff because, like he said, the printer can only catch so much. So this is gonna end up looking like that anyway. It's just gonna end up like a full white color, and you're not gonna get that effect that you want. And speaking of effects, like this blur that I have on here, I wouldn't even try to do any stuff like that. Like it just comes out really, really weird. Even when you're trying to like um, expand the design to fit into these dimensions, it comes out really, really weird. You can see it's already kind of pixelating from doing this blur effect on here. So like effects, the opacity, stuff like that, you're better off just dealing with solid colors that are going to come out bold and clear. I think that's going to work out the best. The next slide, he says something that I thought was probably the best thing from the webinar. Everybody gets something different from this webinar. Some people really liked the color aspect and stuff like that, but this part that he said, creating a design that can be seen from the thumbnail, I thought that was extremely important because when you're browsing Amazon.com, you're looking at t-shirts, some people do not want to click on the shirt to see what it says. And, if your title says, like we said, World's Best Dad, and you can see from the thumbnail World's Best Dad very clearly, you don't have to click on the shirt to zoom in to see what it says. I think that definitely helps because it's a clean, bold design. You can read it from the thumbnail, and you don't have to go through all this extra work and guess and, like, bring out your magnifying glass and or zoom into the page and be like, what does that say? World's best what? People don't want to be guessing what it says. I think the same thing goes for like the graphic. If someone can't tell what your graphic is, they're not going to buy it. Nobody wants to guess what your shirt means or what your shirt says or what you're implying. It has to be clear, bold, clean design that someone can just relate to it very quickly and be like, hey, I like that shirt. It's good. It pops out at me. I'm going to get that one. I like the way it looks. And you don't want people guessing on stuff. Um, so since the webinar, they did have like this hashtag you could put in for people to get approved. So I can tell you right now, a lot of people are getting tiered up. A lot of people are getting approved if they haven't already. Be prepared for competition. It's happening. There's a lot more people on there, a lot more shirts on merch. And my thoughts on people getting in, I think it's a good thing. I think that if someone, wants to make money a different way, especially with all the trouble that's going on with Amazon FBA right now, I think it's a good thing. Competition is good too, and When it comes to people joining, I think it's like we said, it's a good and a bad thing. Because the bad thing is you are going to have copycats out there. You are going to have people that are going to try to figure out some way to also rip other people off by offering. I don't know, because marketers haven't gone to this yet. You know, they already ruined Kindle publishing. They haven't ruined merch yet. When they do, you will find all these courses out there on how to make, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a week on merch and all of this stuff with people that don't even have actual numbers and people that don't even know what they're talking about, but they want to make quick money from you. Next thing you know, you're buying a, I don't know, $1,200 course and wondering what's going on. You don't want any of that stuff. So be prepared for the competition though, because people are getting out there, and I think this is also going to happen with your sales. If you were doing well in sales and maybe your sales have declined, please notice that there are a lot of people out there and a lot of different shirts out there that people can be buying right now. So the competition will get higher and higher. And my next slide, but for those of you that put in the work, you will win. I get emails from, a lot of people asking me about merch, not only designs for me to create designs for them and stuff like that, but a lot of people that honestly, they don't want to wait to tier up. They don't want to get up to 100 and then to 200 or 500 or whatever. They want 8,000 right now. And some people are going to get discouraged. And I love Amazon FBA, and not to try to diss it or anything like that, but if you have a smartphone, you have the app, you can scan a UPC, and you don't have to write a description, you don't have to take pictures. Well, of course, there's no listing, you have to list it on there, but more than likely, no picture, no description, you stick a label on it, and you're good to go. Merch by Amazon is exactly opposite. You're going to have to figure out bullet points, keywords, a great design, be creative, have good ideas, and not everybody is going to want to do that. So I know we're talking about competition, but for those of you that put in the work, you stick with it, you build it up, and you start off with the 25 and you keep going, and you keep building it up, yeah, you will win. And the reason why I show my earnings and all this stuff is because I like to keep updates. People have asked me all the time, hey, what are you making? What are you doing now? I like to do the updates. And I'm no guru. I'm not somebody that's here telling you and bragging all this stuff like, hey, check out how much money I'm making. I'm dominating. I'm cool. I'm better than you. That's not what this is about. And honestly, I'm learning. This is a new platform. You can see it hasn't been around for that long. I'm learning just like you guys are learning, and I think that I can learn from other people, new sellers, experienced sellers. I think, it's a new platform. I could learn so much from other people too, and one of the good reasons why I want to also do this on my YouTube channel and keep the earnings, showing you guys what's going on, and I could also keep it for myself to see where I started, where I am, what I want to do, what I want to do to grow. And if you're ever discouraged by somebody or trying to, I don't know, compare and all that stuff, don't do it. It's not worth it. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. I want to do whatever I want to do and make the money that I want to make and the money that's good for me and my family and my business. I'm not here to impress anybody. I really don't care what anybody else, I don't really care what everybody else is doing or what they think I'm doing, or to compare, numbers or anything like that, because I want you to just do you. And if you're making $100, $200 extra per week or even per month, keep in mind, like 250 bucks, that's almost a car payment. I was paying $250 per month on my student loan. I if this was available back then and I was making $250 a month on merch, I would be beyond excited. I'd be pumped because I struggled with student loans for a long time, and obviously I have those videos on my channel, but to make an extra 250 bucks a month, that's a huge deal. Paying off student loans, car payments, anything that's helping you with, I don't know, phone bills, or insurance, anything like that, I think is awesome. And that's just my take on it. Don't worry what everybody else is doing. Don't try to compare yourself to other people. I just think that you need to do you and just keep growing that merch business. If you're at 25, make it a point to, hey, I want to upload 1, 2, 3 designs a week. Cool. Start off slow. Start off to you could just start growing that business so that you are up to 100. Once you're up to 100, you have a lot more to play with. And I think that's important because now you can kind of see what works once you're off that 25 tier. There's a lot of people in that 25 tier that don't even have any shirts uploaded. If you're taking action, you have at least one shirt uploaded right now, you're already doing better than some other people that are just sitting on their merch account. I don't know why someone would want to just sit there and not do anything with it, because I think it's a great opportunity. But if you're taking action, then nice clap for you because you want to make money. All right, contact me, hustlerhacks, the number one at gmail.com. I still do have the t-shirt package deals if you want designs for the first 25 tier. You do need to give me the ideas though. I can make the design best as possible to put you in the best position to sell. So you can contact me, hustlerhack the number one at gmail.com, hustlerhacks on YouTube, which we are at right now, and hustlerhacks on Instagram. And before I do the final slide, I also wanted to mention that the AM PM podcast with Manny Coates, if you listen to this podcast, talks a lot about like private label, FBA, things like that. I will be a special guest for his next podcast. Maybe it is the next one. I'm not too sure when he uploads them, but Manny's a very, very cool guy. It was a great interview. It's around, I don't know, 50 minutes or an hour. If you want to listen to that interview, it should be coming out very, very soon. And when he does post it, I will post that on my YouTube channel and my website and probably on my Facebook page so you guys can be ready for the interview if you guys want to listen to that. So thanks guys for watching this video. Merch is awesome, merch is growing, and you want to be ready for that Q4 explosion because I do think this year is going to be awesome. So thanks guys again. My name is Glenn with Hustler Hacks. Go out and get it.